Want more engagements and interactions with your students in your online course? I'm going to show you how to make that happen right now. Hey everybody, I'm Leigh from teachingacademia.com, and I'm all about giving you the tools you need to navigate academia and make your best impact. Today we're talking about how to get more engagements and interactions with your students in your online course, and we're going to be talking specifically about how you can use Twitter to make that happen. Now, I want to say you can do exactly what I'm getting ready to tell you in a completely 100% face-to-face environment. I have done this. I have done exactly what I'm getting ready to show you with undergraduates in a face-to-face environment. And it also will increase engagements and interactions that are happening outside of class between those weekly sessions. So consider this in any context, because I think it has a lot of value and can add a lot of value to your class. So social media, obviously, right, if used well, it's going to encourage extensive interactions. If you're in an asynchronous format, that means that you're having these interactions all the time, okay? Your students are posting, sharing, interacting with you, with each other, with other people that are on the platform but are relevant to the discussions. If it's face-to-face, then like I said, you're going to be having extended discussions between those face-to-face meetings, which is really, really great, okay? And you know, I've experimented with this. I've used Facebook, I've used Twitter, I've used Pinterest. My favorite platform for encouraging these engagements and interactions on social media is with Twitter, all right? So, and the reason why, especially in my field, there's tons of people that are on Twitter that my students can interact with, that they can get resources from, even if they don't personally talk to them. And it just adds a lot of value, you know, to the conversations, and a lot of richness to the conversations. We can bring people in on Twitter. We can tag you. If we're reading your book, I will tag or have students tag you, bring you in, and the next thing you know, we're participating. We're having a short little mini discussion on Twitter with somebody who wrote the book that we're reading. That happens. That's very common. It happens all the time. So what do you need to do for this? Obviously, create a hashtag for your class, check it out, make sure nobody's using it or that it's a dead hashtag that you can pick up. And you're going to want to set some ground rules, right? You're going to want to think about how often should people be tweeting, for example. So if you're counting people's tweets, if you're telling them you've got to tweet 10 times a week, then you're probably doing it wrong, okay? Because that's the last thing that you, as the instructor, want to be reduced to. You do not want to be reduced to counting tweets. It'll suck the life out of you. It's not what Twitter is about, but you do need to give your students some guidelines, right? Because they are going to need help. Particularly what I have found is a lot of them aren't, it doesn't matter if they're undergraduates, it doesn't matter if they're masters, it doesn't matter if they're PhD students. A lot of them are not on Twitter. So I need to give them some kind of a guideline, okay? I can always go and click, right? If I've got Mike in my class and I want to see what Mike's participation is, I go click on his Twitter profile. I can eyeball it. I can see what it looks like. Yes, I'm still going to give them a number. I'm still going to say you need to be tweeting, I don't know, 5 to 10 times a week or whatever I want that number to be. I'm going to eyeball it. I'm not going to be going through and counting and checking stuff off. Okay. So, anyways, I would consider, right? You can do a slow chat where you might release a specific question on a Monday and have students discuss that question over the course of the week, right? Or you might release 3 questions and say, hey, let's talk about any of this stuff. Okay. You could also obviously, right, have a designated Twitter chat time where every Tuesday from 7 to 7:30, we're meeting online, we're having a Twitter chat about a particular topic. That works really well in a hybrid class. So if I have a hybrid class that meets, let's say on Mondays from, let's say, noon to 3, then I might say, hey, every other Monday, we're going to be meeting online from 12 to 12:30 or from 1 to 1:30, whatever that class normally takes place, right? Somewhere in that block, we're going to be having a designated Twitter chat, right? So you can have a synchronous Twitter chat. You can also have a slow chat where we don't have to be present, right, at the same time. You also can make Twitter optional, right? It doesn't have to be required. I've done this with in any context, and also particularly in a face-to-face context, I've offered it up as extra credit where I might release a challenge, some kind of assignment that's meant to extend what we're doing in class, and they need to respond, show something, do that work over Twitter. Okay, they might be posting pictures or resources, etc., and that can just be extra credit, right? Why I like using social media and particularly Twitter to support these engagements and interactions, I learn more about what my students are thinking, okay? because they're talking more. And even if I'm not talking back and responding to every single tweet, which I don't, I am learning more about how they're processing information, which I can then use to feed the materials and the things that we're doing in the class, okay? Students can connect with others outside the class as little or as much as they want. Students are going to have a range of comfort on this, okay? It's not something that I require. It's something that I encourage, and it's something that I will direct them to specifically. So I have said, hey, you're reading so-and-so, tag that author. Bring them into the conversation. See, ask them a question, make them a part of the discussion. Some students will say, no, I don't want to do that. That's fine, okay? And some students will give it a shot and see what happens, all right? So it's something that some students will do naturally. They'll reach out to other people, but some students need a little self-direction and guidance to help them see that that's a possibility. That's a thing to consider. And then, of course, my number one thing here, this helps build community within the class, right? Students are having regular interactions with each other. If you have a synchronous or particularly an asynchronous class, I think this is great for helping build community, right? Because you want students constantly talking to each other. And because they're on Twitter, at least in this example, and not in the LMS, this becomes a really authentic discussion. We're not going to lose the discussion, right? Like I talked about with the LMS, at the end of the semester, whatever's in that LMS, whatever's in that course shell is gone. Okay, that's not the case if we're having it on Twitter and we have a course hashtag. Even if we never use that course hashtag again, I can, as a student, go back into it at any point to get resources, questions, whatever it was that I want, right, and pull it out to make some benefit to me as well. So it makes for a much more authentic discussion, and it helps students get to know one another and get to know you as well. So if you like that video, want more tips, click here. I'm going to see you over in the next one.